Do you have a specific process how to approach
The heron?
the heron? Yeah.
Well, slowly.
All right, show me some herons.
Herons in the zoo. There's 2 at least.
You must know all the heron places to visit.
There's still new ones.
Yeah?
I don't think I know all.
Was this the first place you visited? You started at a market, right?
Yeah. Because basically where there's fish, there is herons. Yeah, another markets and some parks. Because you have these like heron colonies. They always live in groups, in colonies, and they migrate as well. So there was a park nearby my house, another park, and then I also heard that there's a big colony here in the zoo. So I also like bought tickets to the zoo and I photographed them here. And they actually like know where the animals are being fed, especially those with fish. So they just go there and they wait. Sometimes they also get eaten by lions, because there's a lion area with also a little pond.
Yeah.
And then it happens like from time to time. You see these videos from like fathers with children, like, oh look, a heron,
Yeah.
oh so nice. And the lion gets it, oh my god, what's happening? Crying kids. And they're quite smart. So if another heron sees a heron being eaten by a lion, he will not go there anymore. But there's always another heron that might think that there is fish, and they will go hunting for their fish. But then the lion is hunting as well. But I don't have like these tragic images, but I have like surreal pictures of like a guy sitting in a park surrounded by herons, and they are quite used to people, so they will come close to you, especially if they know you have food. And there are a lot of herons that will they're very strict on appointments, so if they know someone will feed them, they will go there. So there's several people in Amsterdam who have like these kind of their own heron. And they feed them, and like every day at 5 they throw out fish, so the heron knows like, okay, well I have to be at 5, maybe 4:30 at the market first, and then at 5 I will go to this lady in this street, because she will throw some.
Daily special.
They also throw like little chickens, dead chickens, and
they eat little dead chickens.
Yeah.
What year was it again when you did that heron project?
The herons. It was a multiple year thing. I don't even know if it's a project, if it's finished, because like when there would be a new story, I will probably go for it again.
Yeah.
But the first time I think was around 2014 when I saw them at the first time at the market. Then I made a series a long time ago. But there was a break as well, because then I thought I was finished, because I just thought like, oh, they're at the market, fine, done, published by newspaper, done. And then there was an exhibition space near to the market, and they asked me to exhibit some work. And then I restarted it, and I wanted to make some new pictures. Then I also went to other places, and then I kind of became the heron girl, the heron photographer. So people
like there's a cat lady, and then there's a heron lady.
There's a heron lady. And people started to send me images and stories, and I also sometimes asked on like in Facebook groups, local groups of neighborhoods, like, hey, does anyone have a heron story? And like all people would reply like, yeah, I know this lady, and she has the heron that comes into her house. There's also a heron boat of 2 people. It's actually quite nearby, maybe we will see them. And they make a round with their boats. There's a little boat, and they throw out fish. So like the whole boat is surrounded by a big group of herons all the time. So there's a lot of stories, but also a lot of stories I didn't know, or famous herons. For example, there was one that was always in a certain neighborhood in the Jordaan, in the center, and the heron died. It got run over by a car. It was also in the newspaper, like, oh, the Jordaan heron is no longer with us.
Or her?
Probably yes. I think I think also a lot of herons they exchange, but people still think it's the same one. But it's might be another one coming for the fish. For now, I'm on a break. I think a heron break. But if there will be a new story, if someone will contact me like, hey, there's a heron swimming in that lake always, and there's a funny story about it, then I will probably go. Maybe I would wait once to see if a heron gets eaten by a lion. That would be maybe an addition. I don't have that yet.
Do you think of animals in cities as they're also citizens of the city, or they're more like decoration? Or because in Tokyo lots of rats are on the streets sometimes in the night. I know some photographers who photograph rats because they see them as miniature versions of our miserable life, you know. I
think we all like inhabit this little piece of land. But I think the herons are here because of the people, because they do so well here because there's a lot more fish than just in the nature.
Yeah. But when did you start like photography in general? I mean, street, I know that you also kind of stumbled into it.
Yeah, at first I was drawing. I was always observing stuff around me, and I was looking for ways to record it or to like recreate it. But then like painting and drawing, it costs more time. And I thought, oh, photography, that's quick, it's easy. My first photography experiments were with my mobile phone. It was like the first digital device I got. I noticed I could adjust things, and I really learned by the screen. So I think if photography would only stay as an analog technology, I would probably be too clumsy to even become a professional.
Have you ever tried shooting on film?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I tried.
It's not for you?
I don't think it's for me. Maybe now that I know a little bit more about the techniques, it might be. But I'm very impatient. I mean, you saw it in the line when it takes more than 5 minutes to wait for a coffee. I usually go to another place.
Yeah, film is.
But I do like it.
Yeah, I can appreciate it, and I shot film for almost 2 years. Besides digital, and I always end up being totally fine with my digital photos and files.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the base, it's the real photography, but I'm very happy that there's an easier way to do it. Yeah, that was like the first experiments with the digital camera, and then I think also like some friends of my parents, they noticed that I was doing this, so they gave me like their old digital camera, so I experimented a bit more. And then I bought my first one, the mirror reflex.
What was that?
It was the Canon 450D.
Okay.
The oldie. Yeah, and I started to photograph for student magazines. First I thought, oh, photography in general, I will like it. I will like all of it. Maybe I want to photograph cars for commercials or products with white background. So, and I tried some stuff. I was like, no. And I did some portraits. I thought I might like that as well, but then I didn't. Yeah, then I kind of like filtered out all the stuff I didn't like and kind of filtered it out to streets and reportage.
Were you aware that you're starting something called street photography, or did you consider it like more like travel, reportage? Because often people take photos when they travel, and then it starts to become street photography, but they don't know it yet.
I think it was a combination. I always liked to just photograph stuff around me. I also became familiar with the idea of street photography at first, like the classical ones. I got the book, it's called Paris, Mon Amour. And it's like with all these classical photographs by Cartier-Bresson and Robert Doisneau, stuff like that. And I was like, wow, people really did this, that's cool. And then, I think years later, it was the time of Flickr.
Oh yeah.
And then I thought, oh, there's also like modern street photography stuff, and then you had this hardcore street photography page on Flickr, like the Holy Grail, and somehow I got a new book as a present for my parents, and it was Street Photography Now.
Yeah,
with also the work of Matt Stewart. I was like, wow, Matt Stewart's work, oh my god.
Yeah.
This was like a whole new world. Now now that I'm doing like StreetRepeat, I think like, oh wow, there's a lot of these.
We have to talk about that later too.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw Matt, is also one of my first influences for me. And I thought, this is humor photography. That's what I thought. Like, this is just funny humor photography. And I think I saw some images also in a newspaper or magazine, because even people who have no idea about street photography, they can enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
They can understand it. It's easy to understand and makes you smile, and so. And then with the book Street Photography Now, then it's street photography.
Look, there's a fake heron as well, so people use it to
okay.
to distract.
To distress?
To distract the herons, like
distract.
they don't want herons.
Herons do not like other herons?
I don't know if this works. Like I see like a lot of these blackbirds as well on balconies, and in Amsterdam you have the herons. It might be that someone here is feeding a heron, and that the heron is flying around, and these neighbors don't want to have the heron in their window.
So where can you buy these herons?
It's a good question. I think.
Why don't you have one already?
I like herons. I should have one maybe.
You told me before that you are not someone who hunts for images or goes on a mission, or maybe you do sometimes, but you let things come to you, right?
Yeah, like my natural thing to do is just see what happens, and it usually happens when you don't expect it. So going to hunt, for me, it's a thing that can lead to disappointment. But I also did it, and it's also a whole mental process. And I also did it in assignment for the newspaper, because a local newspaper asked me to capture one photo of the city every week. So then I needed to hunt for it.
Yeah.
But it was quite a mental process, like to deal with disappointment. And sometimes I just didn't get the image in one day, so I had to go another day. And I was a bit stressed because I really needed to make the deadline, and I didn't want to spend like the whole week searching for one image. Yeah. But in the end, I always kind of found something, or something found me.
I find it so interesting, that assignment, because it sounds like a dream assignment for a street photographer, going out to take photos and then do that on a regular basis. How did your week look like? I mean, you had probably other things to do than being outside all day, right?
Yeah, I think at Wednesday I sent it. So I usually went out Monday, Tuesday, which are not the best days.
So 2 days before you have to deliver?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was published on Fridays.
Yeah.
So usually I sent it on Wednesday, so they could prepare the pages a little bit in advance. And when I had time, I would do weekends as well. Sometimes, but it depended. But usually, like, my rhythm was to go on Mondays, and if I didn't manage, then a little bit of Tuesday. And I just cycled around. Like the first few weeks were easy in terms of locations, because everything was new, so I could like pick all the locations. But then, like, when I already had some places, I needed to think about some different ones to not repeat myself too much. So I just cycled all the neighborhoods, and it was fun because I also went to a lot of places I didn't know. Yeah. I mean, I knew they existed, but I didn't know the vibe or the atmosphere. It
sounds totally fun, but knowing that you have to deliver, that's probably stressful. But what happens, or did you ever not submit a photo, or did that ever happen?
No, because it was like every Friday. It was a section in the newspaper, so I had to deliver. Okay. But sometimes it happened that I had like 2 or maybe even 3 photos in 1 week. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was supposed to be of that week, but it was supposed to be of that period. So if it would be like 2 or 3 weeks earlier, that's fine. It couldn't be like a snowy photo in the summer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I did a lot of swearing stuff, because sometimes I just didn't know anymore, and then I started to stalk.
I really enjoyed just seeing you also sharing the process. Like right now I'm here, nothing going on. Yeah. I will come back in 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah. And then you show that you show what you got on your camera. I could almost feel the relief together with you, you know, like seeing the struggle, and then okay, she got the image, and whew.
Yeah, thanks. All of Instagram was relieved. Like all the worries and the stress gets relieved once you have it. Like, oh, I have it. It was not for nothing.
Do you feel you because you had to shoot in vertical, right, portrait orientation for the newspaper? Did you feel that this project made you photograph differently?
Flower bikes, nice.
I know you got a few of flower bikes, right?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's why I stopped, because it's yeah. But I mean, I could not like I couldn't photograph this again for the series because I could have, but it would be a second round.
For example, this bike here that just passed by, would you, when you see it, take a photo, even though you have already a few flower bike
Maybe
photos?
not. Maybe I would take a video. Like last month, I kind of shifted to mobile videos, also vertical.
Yeah.
And actually, I would love to do a full day of just shooting videos. I haven't found the time yet or the power to do it.
Filming like little street scenes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember now, yeah, you did some reels of videos, yeah. You pitched the project. This was your idea?
Well, no, the section already existed. There was like, it was called Cityscape, something like this.
Say it in Dutch,
Stadsbeeld.
Yeah, because it sounds like Stadtbild in German, which is, yeah, I can understand it.
So it existed, but it was a long-term series always. So it was always done like for years or at least 1 year by one photographer. But I emailed them once, like, hey, if this ever becomes available again, I would be super happy to do it. And then they emailed me for a pitch. They were like, oh, are you interested? Well, just do like a test round. We want to see how you would do this in 1 week.
Yeah. And now someone else is doing it?
Yeah. And I tipped the newspaper as well because I quit at some point. I said like, well, 2 years, it's fine. And I made the book, and it was kind of concluded for me. And so they asked me like, oh, do you know other photographers?
And then the book, did they help you publish it, or was it all on you? Yeah?
All on me, yeah. I mean, they helped me with publication in the newspaper, so they were helpful with what they could do. I did a crowdfunding, and I had a funding from a Dutch fund for like, it's called the Fund for Special Journalistic Projects. So these two covered the expenses.
Yeah. And that was your first real book?
Yeah.
How does it feel?
I was happy it was published. I mean, I was happy it was done. I think the process, because it was also new and it was also very organizational and it was very financial and it was a lot of work and also a lot of stress. So I think I enjoyed it when it was published. I was like, oh wow, I did this. Yeah. But during the process, because it was so new, sometimes I felt like I was swimming in the ocean with no idea where I was going to end up. But in the end, I think all the stress and doubts, it paid off. So I'm happy I did it.
Yeah.
Hey, there's another heron.
Oh, where? Oh, here, yeah. Okay. Do you have a specific process how to approach a heron? Yeah.
Well, slowly.
Slowly, okay. Yeah. Should we try?
Yeah. So it's so nice with the windmill in the background. It's actually a beer brewery. It might fly off though. I think now he sees me already. He's in kind of starting position, so he might fly off. But
I will try not to disturb it.
I think I will go around like this. So relax, heron. Oh. Doesn't like me anymore. Scared it off. It usually happens like this, in this order, that like the pigeons come and the pigeons fly off at first. Then I start annoying the heron and the heron
I almost
goes.
scared it away, so I'm glad it wasn't me.
No worries.
Okay, so we got some live action.
Live action heron hunting.
Do you find, this is maybe a little bit of a provocative question for the audience as well, but I find a lot of street photographers try really hard to make an image stand out. It's like there's something going on to the frame here, and then it's a super complex image, and then it's almost like a competition of who makes the most insane composed images. Do you see that kind of trend as well?
A little bit. I think some people or some pictures are like frameworks of kind of like a success formula, and then people like fill it in, which is I think it's a fun exercise, and it's good to master it. But I think when you are really looking for your style, that's you can use this as an exercise, unless you really want to do this, unless you really want to become really good at this. But I think also as a photographer, it's good to just follow kind of a natural obsession or something that speaks to you, rather than something you know that will be liked a lot, that will get you a lot of likes, or something other people like as well.
Do you think that Instagram had an influence in how we take photos?
Yeah.
And share?
Yeah. Looking back on some pictures I made, I also sometimes use my own images for StreetRepeat, because I also found some themes I also had been doing without knowing it. Because I think everything we see, a part of it we will save in our brain subconsciously, and maybe we will use it as a framework to make new images as well, even if we don't know we are following this trend.
It's basically holding a mirror in front of us.
Kind of.
And then it's like, oh, I got selected, and oh, I see. I'm not the only one doing this kind of image.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's like, oh, I feel honored. At the same time, I'm like, oh yeah.
Damn it. I think we're always influenced, and it depends on what influences you. I think for me it's the atmosphere. So I've seen a lot of images that intrigue me because of a certain atmosphere, and sometimes I see something similar that I can photograph in that way as well. But I think because atmosphere is more of a vague element than, for example, juxtapositions, that it's not recognizable as one-on-one inspiration. Even if it might be the same kind of inspiration, it's maybe less visible. So I am intrigued by a certain look on people's face, certain light, certain contrast. So I think these are similar elements maybe to compositions, but less visible if you compare these pictures, I think. But I don't think you should fight. I mean, for me, I don't really fight the influence. It's also fine to acknowledge it, and I think you can at the same time you can be influenced, but make original work as well. Because if you're influenced, that means that spoke to you as well. It's worth to acknowledge it and to still make something that speaks to you personally. I think the first time someone said to me like, oh, but your photos, they're quite similar to each other because you have the main element is almost always in the center. I was like, no. Oh yeah, that's true. It is. Oh yeah, it is a formula kind of, or it's something that interests me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe unconsciously it has become a formula. But sometimes I'm also like bored with my own photography. So I think it's a little bit now, this period after the book, that and also the reason that I went to a whole different countries just to see if I could make also another kind of images. Sometimes I just need to be triggered.
Yeah, so you want to also evolve a little bit into different direction, different styles.
Maybe I just need to be triggered, because if it doesn't trigger me anymore, then I will stop doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess that's good advice. Get triggered.
Get triggered.
And then react on it.
React to the triggers. It's fun, these colorful people.
Yeah. That's another thing I think we can talk about is Amsterdam is such a colorful place, and you know I'm shooting a lot of black and white and also color, but when I came here I was like, there's no way I'm going to take photos here in black and white.
It's difficult, yeah. It's so I don't know how to call it, like busy. Like Dutch like these structures. There's a lot of structures.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does ask for color. I find it easier to photograph outside of the center, even if you see less things, but you have more space. I'm very bad at organizing mess in pictures, because I always want to have some kind of an order in it.
Yeah.
You often see the same kind of pictures coming from like the Dam Square or the main shopping street. Is always like, whoa. Very freaky. Yeah. But these things you see less in the center.
Yeah.
Also because it's so busy.
Yeah.
So in these kind of neighborhoods you can look more for separated elements, which is more interesting, or at least I'm more attracted to that kind of things.
One thing I'm also interested in discussing with you is like marketing yourself as a photographer, and you use primarily Instagram, I believe.
Yeah.
But you are pretty active on stories, and you did a few like fun vlogs where you said, "Yo, I'm vlogging," but it's not really you, right? Do you feel it's necessary to do that, or what's your approach or philosophy on using social media or market yourself in general, maybe?
I think it helps, but I do it because I like it. Because if I would be annoyed by it, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. But I always have this urge to show things. So also when I'm at my parents' house, I always like show pictures from my phone, like, oh look, and I had this dinner, and look at this. So I have this natural urge to share stuff. And also when I have pictures on my phone and I haven't shown it yet, I'm like, oh, I have to put it on stories. People have to see it. It was such a fun scene. Mm-hmm. So it comes naturally for me. But I don't think if you are not up to it, you have to do it. Sometimes I think it also helps to be more mysterious. I think lots of people that don't do interviews and do not appear that publicly are also like interesting because we don't know that much about them. Like Dirty Harry, you know, because I don't think anyone knows how he looks like. Yeah. Even if he does like interviews, but he doesn't really appear, and he's kind of in the background. Even if he's active in his own way, and he's using like the style of communication that's also a little bit the style of his pictures, also very strange and surreal. Yeah. So I think you just have to find your own personal way that suits who you are and who your work and what your work is. Oh, I see something fun again. Wait, I'll go for it. Yeah, I'm really in a video mood today. I think the phone is also less seen as less harmful because everyone is filming with their phone. Yeah. So if you pick a camera, people then more see it as a professional thing or something they're afraid of. But yeah, phone is so integrated, so people don't really mind. Oh, you want to do some branding? Oh, but what camera do you use? Yeah, some product placements. GR, interesting. Oh, but I would like to take a picture, but I think they might not be so happy about it.
Mission starting. Let's see if I will get into fight. Oh, it's too far. What's that reaction?
I know.
Did they see you? Or?
No. But I was a bit afraid to get closer, even if they are not recognizable. But it felt like I was
too close.
It felt like I was too much in their space. Yeah. It felt a bit wrong, but yeah. I like their pose. I like how they were like strangled together. Okay. So I want to get closer, but then I didn't cross the line I should have crossed. Okay. But
do you feel regret now, or how do you deal with this?
No, I know the feeling. Yeah, it's okay. I think I have something, but if I would make it better, I would get closer, with the risk of having the fight and the discussion. And yeah.
And if you really like the scene or the moment, but you know that you could have done it a little better. Frame it better or get a little closer, would you still consider using the image, or do you think it's not worth it if it's not 100% the potential you put in?
I have to see it on a bigger screen. Like if I have the feeling that I got when I saw them, if the feeling is translated into the image on the bigger screen, then I might use it. And also this is a newer lens for me. This is what is it, 23? So everything is a little bit more far away than I was used to. Yeah, sometimes the things are more far away for me, so I have to cross another line. Because I was used to a certain like safe space, a safe distance from the subject, and now I have to go more into that circle, like into that space. So like with them, I think with my older lens, I would already be like close enough, and now I needed to make that extra step.
So why did you change if you feel you need to go closer? Did you feel the need to have more space?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes, and I wanted to have like a new objective, literally, to see if I would make different kind of pictures. But for the pictures I was already taking, like this one is something I would do with the older camera or with the older lens as well. Then it becomes more difficult because you need to get closer to the action. Dutch birthday. Yeah, I mean, I do like the fact that you can turn it back so that it doesn't have like scratches on it. And sometimes it's also quite refreshing to not always look on the screen, because I also use it a lot when I'm photographing, and then I want to look and okay, now I will look later. Otherwise I would be only like studying, okay, I have to change this and this and this, do it again. It's part-time, because I never really wanted to be a full-time photographer. So I want to keep liking photography. I think if I would have to do it, like if I would have to do it all the time, that I would stop liking it.
At the end, I think the type of photography we do or we like will always stay. It has to stay.
To me, when we were discussing like, okay, what are you? Are you an artist or not? And I don't really call myself an artist.
Maybe, or, documentary.
But then he said like, oh, I think the definition of an artist is someone who kind of shows you a new world or new layer of the world, which I can relate to, because I like to show kind of a different reality, or like my view on that little piece of imagery that I can share. So.
Mama!
Do you ever listen to music while taking photos?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't you feel sometimes you miss things around you?
I usually have like one ear active for the street, and the other one in my world, and then I have a little bit of both. But sometimes when I listen to music and I come close to someone, it almost feels that I'm not in their world. So it feels more distant. So maybe I can get closer if I am listening to music and not too aware of my own sound, getting closer to them. So it can also help.
You have one book out. Are you waiting for a new project to start, or have you already something that you're working on?
I never really look for projects to start, so it's always something that happens spontaneously or something that kind of finds me. Yeah, no, this year I took some photos for a museum about the bridges and the canals of Amsterdam. It was about like the unstable ones, because there's a lot of reconstruction work being done at like the canals and the bridges, because there's some heavy load on the bridges. So there was also like one canal wall that collapsed. So they are working with this team, and I'm taking photos, and it will be an exhibition in July.
Okay.
So that's fun. But it's not like my personal project. It's a theme, and I filled it in.
But you enjoy doing things for the city, for example, that is maybe not your typical street photography, but still something that is a fit for you as you know the city, or do you think that your clients can see that in you as someone who is specialized in city projects?
I think maybe after the book, and also the fact that the museum asked me for this job, I think it's valuable that I kind of know the streets. Yeah, but there are not so many jobs like in public space photography. So I think it's more realistic that I will probably do something I've already done. And I'm also like, I filtered out a lot of styles that I am not able to do. For example, with a lot of lighting and tripods, because I don't like the extra tools. The next one is our stop, by the way.
Okay. This is the stop of your future.
It's my stop of the future. It stops here.
Enjoy your Sunday. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.